Welcome, welcome, welcome to LinkedIn Beyond Aesthetics, setting your LinkedIn up for your next play. And by next play, I mean your next role, your next adventure, the next place you're trying to go beyond where you are right now. So the way this session is going to work is a little different. Last year, I was more on camera, but this year I want to focus specifically on your LinkedIn profile. So I decided to just be off camera so that I can see what's happening as I'm going through this LinkedIn profile. Okay. So if you're super excited and you already heard a lot of talks today about, especially the previous session about being recession proof, being, layoff proof, being able to still land opportunities through your LinkedIn by networking and also upgrading your LinkedIn profile. So you already heard that. If you are excited about updating your LinkedIn profile today, let me see that in the chat and we will get started. I'm really excited about this, and I hope you guys are as well. So if you're excited about updating your LinkedIn profile, just let me know in the chat. Okay, great. All right, I see some excitement. All right, so let's start first and foremost. So I'm going to break this up into a few parts. We're going to talk about your LinkedIn header, which is this. All of this here, from here all the way to here, is your LinkedIn header. Okay, this is what I consider your header, even where you say you're interested in work and all of that. Okay, so that's your LinkedIn header. And then we're going to go into this section. I'm going to skip analytics because that has to do with LinkedIn Premium, and everybody's hat is a little different. I have LinkedIn Premium, so it's a little different. I'm going to go into resources a little bit, then your featured section, and then I'm going to go into your activity section to just talk to you about why this is important to recruiters. And then after that, we'll go into experience, and then we'll go into education, licensing, volunteering, skills, where to put what. And then if you guys have questions in the chat, you can do that. We'll also talk about recommendations we're going to go all the way down to interests and why every single piece of this is super important. I'm going to move a little fast so that I have more time to answer your questions. So there will be a point where I can do announce a Q&A right now. All right, so there's a Q&A section. If you want to ask questions, you can also ask questions in the chat. I'm happy to allow you to do that. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So the first things first, on your LinkedIn profile, one of the things that's super important where you can brand yourself, if you see this, I'm able to grab this. This right here is an opportunity for you to stand out. So let's say you're a writer and you're trying to write for Google and you want to be able to write the copy on Google's blog for careers, right? You want to be able to show the recruiter right away who you are and what you're about without them having to search too much about you. Just in case the recruiter, just like your resume, the recruiter only spends 6 seconds here. Just in case, you want to be able to tell them your story here in case they never scroll down. Okay, so that's a great way to audit your LinkedIn profile in case they never scroll down. So ask yourself right now, does your header represent, number one, who you are today, or at least where you're trying to go? So with my header, I put that I started in engineering, then I went to entrepreneurship, then I moved to product and tech. So ask yourself about that header. You can I did this in Photoshop, but you can make your header in Canva. And why is that important? You want recruiters to see that this person has a personal brand. And some of you may not have one yet. It's okay to just put, what your title is or where you're trying to go. But this, to me, is a way to tell my story. So nobody else has this header because it's mine. And then you also want to put your name on your header. You can also, I talk about product management and product marketing on LinkedIn. So for me, this is what I put because usually the follow button is here. So your header is editable. You can go ahead and edit it in there, and it allows you to, just brand yourself better. And then you can hit apply. Your photo, oops, I hope I didn't delete my header, but your photo, your photo should be something that at least shows your face. You have people that have different styles. I'm going to show you. Let's go to Io, the founder of Text Giving. Okay. Io's photo is relaxed. It's not a super formal, headshot, but it's a headshot and it's professional, but it's still relaxed. Everybody has their own style. So don't feel, obligated to have like a super professional headshot. Some people also use selfies. I would say don't take a selfie. Don't use the selfie, okay? Just try to have something that shows your face. You don't have to smile if you don't want to smile, but have that done. All right, let's keep going. LinkedIn also has this opportunity for you to.
Hi, my name is pronounced Amin Ameen. SK are just my middle initials.
So
Thank you.
that's the way I use my voiceover there. They launched that in 2020. It was actually a Nigerian guy who worked at LinkedIn. So use this. If this is if your name is a name that people often mispronounce, you can absolutely use this. You can also use this as a way to introduce yourself. And then I'll go into a hack that I have for you on LinkedIn. So let's go to my friend Jazib's account. He actually works at LinkedIn. He used to be at Amazon. Listen to his.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jazib. I currently work at Amazon. I'm a huge startup junkie and I post content for job seekers. So if that's your cup of tea, let's connect.
Yes. So the voiceover is only 10 seconds. So what I'm trying to tell you here is make it your own. You can only edit it on your phone, so you do need to go on the mobile app and edit it. However, you can, once you edit it, you can listen to it and anyone else who lands on your page can hear it. And now he used that opportunity to talk about that he gives tips to job seekers. So absolutely make it your own. If you're a product manager, if you're an engineer, or if you're social media manager, talk about what makes you passionate about it. And you have 10 seconds to do that. All right. So I wanted to show you an example of other people's profiles so that you're not bored with just mine. Now, as far as what you put here, notice that everybody has something different. He puts B2B sales strategy because he kept it short and sweet. I think a way to optimize this is to really stand out. Instead of putting where you work and what you do at where you're currently working, I feel that's a missed opportunity because people can always scroll down, especially if the recruiter's curious. So don't focus on putting, I work at so-and-so company. Try to tell your story. So mine is, my mantra is I start with people, then build the product. Because I'm a product professional who's interested in product management and product marketing, this is something that I want recruiters who are hiring in that space to see. Because they know that as working in product, you do need to start with customer problems. The second thing I did is I quickly told my story of what I used to do. So I worked as an engineer for 12 years. Okay, so that's right here. In case they never scroll down, I want them to know that. So I worked as an engineer and I worked on projects, and then I pivoted into tech through products. Okay. That's something I want them to know. And then I added a little fun fact about myself. So a framework you can use is where you're trying to go. I'm going to put it in the chat. Where you're trying to go. Let me put closed caption on in case anyone here is at work on mute. So where you're trying to go instead of where you've been. Focus on that. Futurize your LinkedIn is super important. When you futurize your LinkedIn, now you'll start getting recruiters to reach out to you. And I'll go into the tactical stuff now. So everybody get your pen and paper out right now. There's a hack I want to show each of you. So this is super important. If you're using a Mac, the command is going to be Command F as in Frank. And do you see that on the top of my screen? Can you see this? Can you all see this? If you see this on the top of my screen, did a box come up? If you're using a Mac, I want you to tap on Command F as in Frank. If you're using a PC, I want you to use Control F as in Frank. Okay? So either Command F as in Frank or Control F as in Frank. Control F as in Frank is for the PC people, and Command F as in Frank is for Mac. This is a hack that I want you to write down. Imagine this being the back end for other engineers in the house. Imagine this being on the back end of what recruiters, the mechanism that allows recruiters to find you. But this is a way for you to audit yourself. Command F as in Frank, if you're using a Mac, is what brought this up for me. If you're using a PC, is Control F as in Frank. Now watch the magic. Let's go on Io's profile. So he's the founder of Textgiving, right? He's a senior technical product manager at Google. Now, if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking for technical product managers, let me see how many times the word product comes up on his profile. So this is Ayo's link. I want all of you to try this on your laptops. I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay. Yes, I put you on the spot. I'm going to put it in the chat. That's Ayo's link. So let's all go on Ayo's profile and let's see. He says he's a product manager. Let's see if we believe him. The word product comes up 11 times on his profile. Okay, so we can believe him. He's a product manager. Let's see if engineer comes up on his profile. The word engineer comes up 12 times. So what's the point of this, right? This is what I want you guys to do a self-audit. So even though Ayo has product 11 times, he can do better than that because Ayo is a product leader. So I want to see product come up on his profile at least 25 to 30 times, even more. Why? Because he's worked in product in several big tech companies and he's an engineer. So I want to see that even more so he can come up on more searches. Why is that? When we do a Google search, okay, you did pass the audit, but you can do better. So when we do a Google search every day, when we're looking for things online, I want you to answer in the chat. Are you looking on page 10 of your search, the results? No. You're looking on page 1, maybe page 2, if you don't find what you want on page 1, right? So think about it like that. This self-audit would allow you to say, I claim that I'm a experienced project manager, but the word project is nowhere to be found on my LinkedIn profile. How is the recruiter going to find you when they're doing a search for project managers? Okay. I think a good number would be above 10 to start, but as you continue to grow in your field, try to get up to 30. Now, let me put myself on the spot. All right, so we did Ayo's and he came up 11 times. He's a product manager, all right, but he can do way better, okay? So let's go to mine right now. I'm gonna give you guys my profile link. And so this session is completely practical. There's no theory here. I'm gonna show you exactly what you need to do so that you can leave here today with a better LinkedIn profile. So you can work on it this weekend, okay? After the conference. So let's look at mine. I'm gonna do Command F as in Frank. I'm gonna search engineer. Comes up 26 times. Well, I am an engineer, so that makes sense. Now I'm gonna search product. It comes up 85 times. Why does it come up 85 times on my profile? Because every opportunity I had, I made sure I put it there. So what LinkedIn is going to do is LinkedIn will actually rank me higher whenever somebody's searching for product manager or the word product. LinkedIn's going to rank me higher. So did I lie about it? No, I just used every single spot I could to talk about product. Even in my about section, I mentioned it. A lot of you are leaving that on the table, but we'll get to that. I just want to show you how many times product is coming up on my profile and why it's coming up so much. Even when people do endorsements, look, these are people who wrote about me that I used to work with. They all wrote the word product. And somehow it comes up. So that also benefits me. All right. So as we're going through this session, you're going to see there are different ways for you to incorporate where you're trying to go so that it shows up. It's super, super, super important. So for the experience section, so let's keep going. Okay. So that was the hack. Now, if you're just joining, for those who are just joining, if everybody's here that has been here already, there's 66 of you here so far. Can you please put in the chat the command if I were using a PC, if I wanted to audit my own LinkedIn account to see if the keywords from the career I'm trying to target are coming up? What would I put as for someone for a PC? Thank you. And then for someone with a Mac, what should I do on my profile? Command F. Perfect. So if you're just joining, this session is recorded. That's okay. I put on closed captions in case anyone's at work and they're unable to listen to the audio for now. Okay, perfect. So let's keep going. So we already did the self-audit. So this little box will come up if you hit Control F or Command F. Good to go. So let's dive right in. The next thing I want you to think about is if you're a thought influencer or a thought leader on LinkedIn, you definitely want to get on creator mode because it allows even more people to find you specifically about the topics you're talking about. Don't overflood this with like 50 hashtags. Focus, focus, focus. That's the name of the game. The next thing you want to do is your contact info. This sounds silly, but a lot of you are not putting your contact information. Some of you are just putting maybe your social handle, but put your email. This is A lot of recruiters are using LinkedIn Recruiter. So you want to be able to put your email so they can find you, okay? So we talked about the hacks so you can audit your LinkedIn profile. If you missed it, look through the chat and people will share that with you. And now I want to talk to you about why every single piece of your LinkedIn profile matters and how that helps you rank higher on LinkedIn's algorithm so that one, you can get found by recruiters. Number two, recruiters can reach out to you. And number three, you can land an interview. Your LinkedIn profile and your resume will not land you the job. I'm going to say that again. Your LinkedIn profile and your resume will never land you the job. What they will do is land you the interview. It's going to land you that conversation. It's going to land you that informational chat that you want with that hiring manager, but it won't get you the job. You still have to go through the interview process. Your LinkedIn profile can also help you get referrals from people who you don't even know because your profile is so thorough. They feel confident enough to give you that referral even without knowing you very deeply. Okay? So let's continue on. So once you've added your contact information, I want to bring your attention to this section as well. This section is super important. Open to work. It's only private to you, but when you open it up, it allows you to show the type of roles you're interested in. Make sure that those roles kind of make sense. So if you're project manager, project coordinator, junior project manager, you can also put program manager. Someone who manages programs manages multiple projects. So make sure that the job titles that you want, not what you used to do, especially for those of you pivoting, make sure that the job title matches where you're trying to go. So many people forget that, and then they wonder why they're not being reached out. The second thing here, workplaces. I put on-site, hybrid, and remote because right now, the way the market is right now, it's really tough. Don't just leave remote there. There were absolutely more opportunities. Maybe it says it's on-site, but they're willing to give you remote when you go through the interview process. So don't close yourself off there. Make sure you click on all of this because there's 90,000 people that were laid off this year and they're in the market with you. So make sure that you put everything. Now, with your job locations, right now, I'm in New York. So, well, I'm in DC right now for this conference, but on a normal day, I'm in New York. I used to be in California, so I used to have it here. But if I have to put this there because I want them to know that if it's on site, it has to be in New York. I used to go back and forth between New York, San Francisco, and LA. And what happens is recruiters would reach out to me for on-site San Francisco jobs, and I wasn't there, so I don't want to waste their time. Now, when it comes to remote, put the cities that you're willing to move to and that you're willing to work remote from. Now, this is a debate that a lot of people have. I put actively, even if I'm not looking for a job, I just put it there. Because the recruiter may have a filter that says, show me who's actively looking. And you don't want to put passive and they think that you're not interested. So just put immediately. Even if you're not interested, you can say no. Job types, make sure you give yourself all the opportunity. There are a lot of contract roles that pay very well right now. And I think they're a great way to also leverage to get into tech. So that's the experience section, the preferences section. This is another thing. So a lot of people will click on open to work. I am not a fan of it because I want you to lead from a place of I don't want you to look to the recruiter that you're super desperate and that you're not working right now. Even if you were laid off, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. You can do a test for yourself. Check for a week. If you put open to work, if it works for you and you're getting a lot of hits, cool. I get reached out to by a recruiter from big tech companies literally every single day. And I don't have it to show the green banner. I just put that I only want recruiters to see it. This is also great for those of you who are working and maybe you don't want your job to know that you're looking for a job. So then make sure you hit save. Once you hit save, that's all set up. I'm gonna accept these LinkedIn requests right after I'm done. I'm sorry, guys, got distracted. Okay, so let's get back to it. So now you know how to audit your own account. Now you know, if you're asking when you figure out, okay, I said that I want to work at Google Education as a program manager, but I don't have the word program on my profile a lot. So you need to put something here. Now let's continue to other places you can put it in. So featured section allows you to put different things. I like to use this section for personal branding. Let's say, for instance, you're trying to pivot into a company or a field you've never worked in before. Let's say you're trying to pivot into tech. You used to be a social media manager. Now you're trying to do product marketing. This is a great opportunity, especially if you, let's say, speak on panels. for you to showcase that outside of work, even though I don't have the title product manager or product marketing manager, I interview product professionals that are high up there in the field, in the VP level. So here I was interviewing the VP of product at Twitter, director of product at Google, product executive at VMware, and the president of product and business at Planet, who also happened to be a VP of product at Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. So this is a great opportunity to show the recruiter that outside of work, yes, I may not have the title, but I specifically also am very passionate about this topic. So this is what you can do in your featured section. Show them articles that have been written about you. I put things that I launched at Twitter. I didn't introduce myself in the beginning because I wanted to get right to it. I'll talk about myself in the end. But I put things that I launched at Twitter because these were my products that I launched. I put it here. It was in Forbes. It was in TechCrunch. That's good things you can put. So if you're at work right now and your work sometimes gets featured in the news, or you're speaking at TechGiving, show the graphic design that TechGiving created and put it there. Show that you're a speaker on certain topics. All right, so are some features with premium? No, everything I've shown you so far is default features without premium. You don't need premium. The only thing premium will do for you is I'll show you that later, where premium shows you who's looking at your account. Nothing I've shown you so far requires you to pay for a premium account. And I'll give you a hack again later on about premium. You can connect with recruiters at LinkedIn and also LinkedIn employees. Each of them each year gets a certain amount of LinkedIn premium gifts that they can give out. So I'm going to share that hack with you. That's hack number 2. First hack was about auditing your account. Number 2, if you are connected with someone that works at LinkedIn or a recruiter at LinkedIn reaches out to you, I want you to be able to say, hey, I'm really interested in LinkedIn Premium because I want to take LinkedIn learning courses. Unfortunately, I'm a student, or unfortunately, I was laid off, or unfortunately, I can't really afford the $65 a month. Would you be able to gift it to me? I have not paid for LinkedIn Premium for the past year and a half because it was gifted to me by a recruiter, and then now my friends give it to me every year. This is the time of year that they want to give it out before the year runs out. So I want you to go on LinkedIn today, meet with recruiters, look for people in your network. If you don't know anyone, I'm happy to ask for you. So connect with me on LinkedIn, and then you can ask them for their LinkedIn Premium gift. They all get it as employees. What if we attended a conference as a normal person? Nothing wrong with that. You can put it in your featured section by writing about the conference. So let's say you went to TechGiving today and you want to write 3 things you learned from TechGiving that you'll never forget. Write a LinkedIn post about it. And then once you write the post, you can hit it and make it featured. And then what you do is when you write the post, you go in your activity, you go to posts, and then you tap this, and then you can put feature on top of profile. Okay? All right, so you can do that. All right, so let's keep going. And whoever said they don't have access, let's connect on LinkedIn after this and I can troubleshoot it with you. Let's keep going. So what's next? What's really important? Your about section. This is a mistake a lot of people make. I personally believe you shouldn't talk about yourself in third person unless you're a celebrity or maybe a CEO or like an executive level person. Use your about section to talk about yourself like you're talking to your friend about why you love this career. I want to invite you all to look at mine. All I did was say, thanks for stopping by. There's so much more to me than this LinkedIn profile, but here we are. And then I go in to talk about my career. Let me give you guys a little framework. The first thing you can do is talk about where you're presently at, where you've been, and what you're trying to do next. So that's a present, past, future. Present, past, future. Write that down. Put that in the chat. Present, past, future. Okay? Use that as a framework if you have no idea where to start. Present, past, future, so you can remember that. All right? Good. Use that as a framework. The next thing you're going to do, remember when I showed you the hack, product comes up on my profile 80 something times. When I say product tech stack, don't get scared. Don't think it's only for engineers or people that are technical. Canva, if you're a social media manager, Instagram, that's your tech stack. All that means is which technologies do you use to get the job done? That's it. You want to put this here, and how do you know what to put? Start looking at the job postings that you're interested in. At the end, I'm going to quickly show you how to search for a job posting, because now you'll know how to do your LinkedIn, but I want to show you something and give you another hack to this whole job search process. So your tech stack doesn't have to be anything super technical. As a product management, yes, these are tools that I use. But look, I also put Google Suite. You can put Google Workplace if you use Gmail to get your work done, if you use Google Calendar. Don't be afraid to put things in your tech stack. All it means is this is the technology that I use. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, put some brain emojis in the chat, some battery chargers in the chat, if that makes sense to you. Awesome. Or some fire emojis, whatever you want to do. Now let's keep going. So in the about section, it doesn't have to be super long. This about section should not be able to be copied and pasted. Why? Because it's your story. So if you're writing it and it sounds generic, that lets you know that you need to edit it. If you're writing it and it's like, when you finish, you're like, okay, this is actually my story. And I know nobody can copy and paste this without pretending they're me. That's where I want you to get when you're writing your back section, and use that framework, present, past, and then bring it back to the future. And then you have the tech stack, and then you're going to go into random facts about you. Okay. So you don't have to do this. I did it because I think it allows you to bring in more personality. Okay. So writing should sound like your story. Exactly. Make sure it sounds like your story, not somebody else's. So you can use mine as an example. Please don't copy. And then I want you to remember at the end to have a call to action. Please write that down in the chat. At the end, what should you have? A call to action. What is a call to action? Telling the recruiter or whoever's looking what to do. That's it. If you would like to chat with me about product management, product marketing, engineering, or art, shoot me a message here on LinkedIn. You'll be surprised how you don't have a call to action, so they don't really know where you want to be contacted. Make it easy, okay? Let's quickly go into the experience section. This one, the tip I'm going to give here is for people who are pivoting and they've never had that title before, but they don't want to lie on their LinkedIn profile. They don't have the title before, but they're really trying to show that they understand the work, right? So think about what you're doing right now. So I have a new job, but I have not updated my LinkedIn with it. And I just don't feel like doing it right now. So I was working at Twitter, right? And I put that I'm a senior. That's my actual title, right? But here is not my actual title. This is some of the things I worked on. So don't be afraid after you put your actual title to put hyphen consumer products or hyphen so-and-so, because that allows you to do what? Help your LinkedIn profile come up on the algorithm. It helps your LinkedIn profile come up on the search again. It makes it easy. So make sure you add those keywords. So let's say, for instance, you're trying to pivot into project management. You want to work so bad as a project or program manager at Google. You've taken the Google project management course, but you haven't ever worked as a project manager, but you know you can do it. Why? Because you've thrown events before, you've managed a birthday party from start to finish with the budget, all of that. You figured out what the resources are. That's project management, but you've never done it before. A great way is to show yourself as a freelancer and put it on your LinkedIn profile as freelance, meaning I never worked for a company doing this, but I did this on my own as a freelancer or as an entrepreneur, as a consultant in a freelance capacity. And then that also helps you. Or you can say, you can actually put the course that you're taking in your experience. People do it all the time. People will put that they're in school in the experience section instead of putting in the education section, because that's the only real world experience they have right now to show that they do projects. Okay. So make sure that you leverage all of that. Of course, this is a speed run, so I'm not going to go through all of my experience, obviously. But remember what I said earlier. I wanted to show recruiters that I started as an engineer, but then I pivoted into tech and product. So important. The reason why I wrote product professional instead of product manager is because I particularly love product marketing management and I love product management. So I get approached for both roles. So instead of pigeonholing myself and just saying product manager, I put product professional. And I welcome you to do that as well if you're not sure yet where you want to be in product. Okay. And there are other roles in product that have nothing to do with product management and product marketing. They work cross-functionally. There are things like a product counsel, which is a lawyer that works in product. So Don't pigeonhole yourself. All right, so let's keep going. Make sure you have your education in there. Any licenses or courses that you've taken, put it there. Okay, do that. The next thing you want to do outside of, excuse me, let me get back there. So the next thing you want to do after you have all of your experience listed and all of that, I want to highlight this. This volunteer section, don't sleep on it. There are lots of things that you might be a part of. If you are a volunteer at TextGiving, put it here. As long as they have a profile on LinkedIn and their logo comes up, put it there. And then you can go into detail about what you did there. I didn't do that because I didn't really, at the time, I don't need to. But if you want to use your volunteer experience as your work experience, then you don't put it in volunteer section. You move it up to your experience section so it can be highlighted up front and center. Okay. Now let's talk about this section. Super important. One of the reasons why you will rank higher against other competition, I don't like to call them competition, but people who are interested in the same exact role you are, is by getting endorsed, guys. You have to get endorsed. When do you think one can say they're an influencer? Let's talk about that. If you influence one person to do one thing, in my eyes, you're an influencer. But LinkedIn considers you an influencer. You can just turn on creator mode and it's fine. All right, so let's get back to this. So getting endorsements on LinkedIn. Why is this important? When you get endorsements on LinkedIn, it allows the LinkedIn algorithm to say, I'm looking for a product manager. Show me experienced product managers. Do you think with me, with over 99 endorsements for product management and over 99 endorsements for product marketing, do you think someone else who has like maybe 1 or 2 endorsements would be found faster? Doesn't mean they won't get an interview at all, because some people haven't worked on their LinkedIn. But who do you think will be found faster by the recruiter? And who do you think LinkedIn will prioritize to show the recruiter? Me or the person that has 1 endorsement? Let me know in the chat. And wow, we have almost 100 people here. That's awesome. Exactly. So you might ask yourself, how do I get endorsements? Well, I'm going to show you something right now. You're going to go to a friend's profile or someone you used to work with, okay? And you're going to go on their profile and you're going to endorse them. I'm calling you out again. Microsoft Office, unless it's like, I want you to update that. You need to put, see, this is when you have your dream job and you worked at 3 top tech companies, you don't update your LinkedIn. He needs to put product management here. He needs to put program management here, and he needs to put like cross-functional leadership. He's putting, you don't want to put PowerPoint. Why? Because that's a skill, but that's not, you want them to endorse you for like the things you're trying to do. Okay. So IO needs to put product management there, program management, or something like cross-functional leadership. But look, I just endorsed him, right? So the chances of, yes, he only has 10 skills. So another thing you want to do, don't crack me up, guys, because I want to finish the time. Another thing you guys want to do is make sure that you have 50 skills listed. 50. I have 48. I need to do better. But 50 skills will let you rank higher on LinkedIn as well. So outside of that, 50 skills, that's the default. So write it in the chat. How many skills are you going to work on between now and January to try to get updated? 50. Now, you're going to ask yourself, how do I know which skills to put? I want you guys to look for a dream job, and you'll start to see they literally tell you what they want you to have. Now, if you don't have it, then you want to start building those skills. You want to start going to learn about that skill or that certification, whatever it is. But make sure you have at least 50. And then the second thing I want to tell you about this is make sure that the top 3 skills, because that's all they'll see unless they expand. What if they don't expand? So the top 3 skills, that's why I was calling on IO, is they need to be related to where you're trying to go. Okay? It's very important. So right now, as you audited your LinkedIn earlier, to check for the keywords, I want you to audit your skills section and ask yourself, are my top 3 skills relating to the role I'm trying to get at Google, at Meta, at Twitter, at Microsoft, at this startup? Do they relate? A lot of times they don't. So again, you're doing yourself a disservice, right? So let's keep going. After the skills, the next thing I want you to focus on is recommendations. The same thing I showed you so you have an assignment today. I'm giving you a lot, and you can go back and listen to this recording after. Today, I want you to look through your LinkedIn connections, go and endorse 5 to 10 people that you've either worked with, you partnered with, you did a collaboration with on Instagram, you spoke at their conference. Go and endorse, or people you are friends with that went to school with you in the same subject, whatever it was. I want you to go on LinkedIn and endorse 5 to 10 people today for their top 3 skills. And if you don't see the top 3 skills that you think that they're strong in, tell them, hey, I wanted to endorse you today, but I don't see, I know you're really good with program management. You didn't put it at the top 3. Did you know that LinkedIn will rank you higher for program management if you have it as your top 3? So I want you guys to do that today. Also, drop your link in the chat. If you feel like your LinkedIn is strong and you want people to endorse you, say, I'll endorse you. If I see that you have, like right now, a lot of you don't know me and you're meeting me today for the first time, but you can see on my LinkedIn through my post that I talk about product management or product marketing, right? So you can feel comfortable endorsing some strangers that you meet maybe at a conference that's speaking. You can also, another thing I want you to do, all the speakers that you meet in the next 2 days, go and endorse them for what they spoke about. Go and endorse them for public speaking. Go and endorse them for leadership. The person that was speaking from Netflix, go and endorse him for recruiting. All of those things are great ways to open the door and start connecting. Now, you can't endorse someone unless you're connected with them. So make sure that you are connected with them. Exactly. I love that. And if you guys are enjoying this, it looks like you are because I've kept 92 of you here. So that's good. If you're enjoying this, let me know in the chat. Let me know. All right. So let's get to the final piece. Recommendations. Okay. We have this piece and then one more. All right. Recommendations. Why are these important? And why should you do the way you ask people for a recommendation is so important. LinkedIn allows you to ask for a recommendation from anybody. So let me go ask Ayo for a recommendation right now, right? I'm going to show you right now how to ask for a recommendation. I'm going to ask Ayo. Now, I'm not going to say LinkedIn is going to give me a default. I don't want to give him a generic recommendation. I'm not trying to make his life hard. He's busy. So no, you shouldn't just leave it like this. Hi, Ayo. Would you recommend me, please? No, that's not what you're going to do. That's not what we here at Textgiving are going to do. What I will say is, hi, Ayo. Thanks for always meeting with me. I'm going to write this in real time. Meeting with me weekly to talk about PM, because we do. I want to highlight my speaking skills as it relates, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to do this in real time, blah, 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 blah. And then, so what you're going to do, right, is you're going to tell the person, hi, this is where I'm trying to go. This is why I need it. You tell them why you need the recommendation. You tell them what you want them to focus on. And you can literally say, Ayo, I've been speaking at Textgiving for 2 years now. I'd love for you to be able to speak to my ability to public speak and also community, blah, blah, blah. And I'd love for you to be able to speak to my skills as a product manager. As you know, I'm trying to pivot into product management. And I would love for you to specifically speak about my ability to communicate, because you know that's important in product management. Now, I'm not putting the onus on Ayo to write it from scratch. I'm telling him a specific thing I want him to highlight, and I'm calling it a day. And once you do that, it allows Ayo to have something to write. So he's not like, okay, she's giving me work. I don't know what she wants me to write. I'll just do it later. And then you don't get the recommendation. All right. So I'm going to do that later because I don't want to think about it on the spot and waste your time. But let me let you read an example. I didn't ask for this recommendation. This is someone I worked with at Twitter. He actually interviewed me in my final round. Look at what he wrote. He said how he knows me. So it was specific. Okay. He talked about what his role is. Make sure that that's a good recommendation. When they say how they know you, they talk about what their role was in the team or where you work together. And then they talk about you. And then look at what he talked about. He talked about my ability to add to strategy sessions. He talked about strong ownership. This is critical for me. I want that to be highlighted. That's great. So I didn't have to ask him to edit it. He did it unsolicited. And then he wrote things that are important to me because I'm trying to pivot into product management. And it's coming from a senior product management staff product manager. And it's coming from someone that worked at a big tech company. Do you get the point now? Do you guys see the point? If you do, drop it in the chat. We have about 6 minutes and we're going to keep going. And you're going to have stronger LinkedIns after this. So if that made sense to you and you feel like you learned so much today, I want to know your feedback in the chat in real time. Let's do that. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Now you know how to ask for a recommendation. And also you can give a recommendation. So I want you guys to also look at how you can give a recommendation to people and allow them to see that you also are supporting them. Okay. So Ayo, I'm going to send Ayo a recommendation later. Who else is sending Ayo a recommendation request? One of the speakers. If he doesn't know you, then don't do it right now. But you can connect with him today on LinkedIn and tell him you were at Thanksgiving, you were super inspired, and that you hope to build a relationship with him. Maybe this time next year, Ayo will not only endorse you, he will give you a recommendation and also give you a referral to Google or wherever he's at. Okay, so look at these recommendations on my profile just to go, and so you guys can go and look at that later, just so you can see why it's important. Another thing, this was a product management lead, right? But before she joined Twitter, she was at Google for how many years? She was at Google for 7 years, right? Why does that matter? So if I'm trying to work at Google and a recruiter at Google seeing that an ex-Googler is recommending me, it gives you that social capital. Okay, guys? So that's it in a nutshell. All right, so we have 5 minutes left. I love this. So publications, if you've ever written anything or you have a blog or you have a podcast, put it here, guys. Don't waste the space. Put it there. If you speak other languages, I speak Japanese, I'm definitely flexing with that and I'm gonna put it there. Now, this is the last piece today, okay? You'll be surprised how many of you right now go on your LinkedIn if you want to work for a certain company. If you're not following them, did you know that the recruiter can actually filter you out when they're doing searches? Sometimes recruiters will filter out who's not they'll say, show me everyone who follows Microsoft or LinkedIn or Google or PayPal who also is a product manager or software engineer or a marketing manager or a social media manager. And you'll be surprised at the fact that you don't put it there. You don't come up on their search. So maximize the opportunity. That is it. Make sure you follow all the companies that you're interested in. And then also make sure you join groups on LinkedIn. Super important. Try to join at least groups that have to do with the career you're interested in. This is another hack. If you join product groups or UX groups, when recruiters look for UX designers, you're going to come up because it's now a part of your profile. Think of your LinkedIn profile as a Google search. LinkedIn, Google, and Twitter and LinkedIn, Google, Twitter, even YouTube are all SEO optimized. All of these are searches. Even TikTok now is like a Google search. So make sure you optimize these keywords. So I'm going to end there so we can have some time for questions. I'm going to connect with you guys right now. I love that. I'll respond to your whatever messages you left. So let's start answering some questions in the chat. Let me quickly accept everything. I'll read what you said later. Okay. So now you know how to audit your own account. You know how to ask for recommendations and why those are so important. I want each of you, by the time January rolls around, when you hit Command F or Control F and you type in the keyword that has to do with your role, I want you to be able to come up more times, and you can search it on other people's. Now, I just want to, before I answer the questions, I'm just going to quickly go to look for a job. I want to show you guys something. I just want to show you something really quickly, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. So another thing, I know this isn't about job postings. Maybe next year I'll speak specifically to job postings, but let me give you an example of why this session, in conjunction with what I'm about to tell you, is going to make your job search easier and less stressful. And just remember, your resume and your LinkedIn are marketing tools. They're only going to get you an interview. They are not going to get you the job. Don't assume just because they're great, that means you get the job. They will get you the interview and the conversations. And then you can take that into your interview process. And then the interview, which will do, you guys will learn more about interviews today. The interview is the one that's actually going to get you the role, okay, and that process. So let's look through this. What I want to tell you really quickly, but make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn and also follow me on Instagram, because I'll probably talk about this later in case we don't have time. So I want you to go through a job posting, copy and paste it into a Google Doc. Don't just click the link because the link could disappear tomorrow. So let's say you know you like this, but you're not ready to apply. But next year, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, you're ready. Copy and paste it. So this will be considered your dream job. Put it in the Google Doc and name it dream job. And then what I want you to do is look through every bullet point. And for each bullet point, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. What are they asking me here? Have I done this before in any capacity? And is it on my resume? And I'm going to end there. We will talk about it later. You can connect with me on other platforms, so I will explain in deeper thought, but I want to leave you with that. And then I'm going to go over for 5 minutes. I know you guys have other sessions, but I'm going to go over a little bit so I can answer the questions, okay? Because we do have some Q&A. Do you recommend that UI designers post their content? Absolutely. People in UI, UX, please post your content. There was a lady from Nigeria who literally got a job at Spotify. They moved her to Stockholm, Sweden, because she used to post content. She would make up, she never worked as a UI designer at a company. So what she did is she took what they had and she would do her own designs and say, I can make your UI better. And she posted on LinkedIn and tagged them. They called her for an interview. She bombed the interview because nobody prepped her for tech interviews. But she was so good that they invited her again to do it again, and they prepped her. She got the job. She moved her whole family, her husband, her kids, to Stockholm, Sweden, at their headquarters. So absolutely, you should put that content out. Will there be a link sent out to the recording? Yes. TextGiving always shares the link after the conference. So don't worry. You'll get it Friday or the next week. All right. So I answered that. All right. And then the next question, I'm going to answer this in speed. Yes, I answer that. All right. So the next question is, how do you ask for a recommendation from an old work colleague, someone you have not spoken to in a couple of years? Great. So what you can do is you can say, hey, I know it's been a while since we spoke. I'm really trying to beef up my LinkedIn profile because I'm going for XYZ role. One of the things that I remember us working together on was a project that did XYZ. I really would love if you could highlight what you think about my leadership skills during that project, or whatever it is. I'm giving you a generic answer because I don't know and you're anonymous. So that's a way to ask them. What's your take on adding coworkers on LinkedIn? I've had a pending ones that I refuse to accept. Hey, if you don't want to accept it, that's totally fine. The thing is, if you add a coworker that you get along with and you're doing good work with them, it's great for you because then they can give you a recommendation and endorse your skills, but it's up to you. Is there a reason why you added Japanese speaker? Yeah, because I speak Japanese and I'm proud of it. That's why I added it. Can you talk about changing the layout of your profile, changing the order that things appear on your page? I think I might be premium only. No, there's no order. I don't have a special order. This is the order LinkedIn gave me. And then I just, filled it out. All right, great. I answered all the questions. That's great. Okay. So how does everybody feel right now as we end? We're 2 minutes over time, but how does everyone feel? Do you feel like you understand and feel less intimidated by LinkedIn after listening to this session? Yes? Let me know in the chat. Good. I feel encouraged. Awesome. Yes. Okay, great. Who else feels encouraged? Who feels like, oh my God, I can work on my LinkedIn today? And that was just a quick and dirty. If you are interested, this is my Instagram. Hold on. That was just a quick and dirty, but I always talk about it. You can also subscribe to me on Instagram. You can ask my subscribers. They get a whole lot of value. I'm going to put my Instagram link here so that you guys can go off to your next chats. Hold on. And I'll stick around if anybody has any other questions. Let me put my Instagram link, sorry. This is my Instagram. Hold on. Okay, so is that my Instagram? Yes, that's my Instagram, and this is my LinkedIn. And if you click on any of the speakers' profiles, you'll be able to see their socials as well. Okay, next question. If you're changing industries, should you be apprehensive about posting things that are obviously outside of your role? No. You can also talk about that. You can say, I really am interested in pivoting. So these are the reasons. One topic you can say is 5 reasons why I'm interested in pivoting into XYZ. And then you can build your content around that, and then people start to see you as a thought leader. Absolutely not. Don't stop yourself from sharing that content. You know what content really helps on LinkedIn? Sharing your journey. People that say, hey, this time next year, I want to be a UI, UX designer. and I'm going to share my journey, the rough moments. Last year, I shared my journey interviewing across 8 different tech companies. I had gotten an offer from 2 FANG companies last year before I chose Twitter instead. But these were companies that were like my dream companies, but I wanted to work on the product that I worked at Twitter. But what made it great is I actually shared my journey along the way with other people. And so they felt inspired. They actually saw me do it. I said, I want to get into tech, and I did it. So I shared my journey every step of the way. When I would get to final rounds and then they would hire internally, I would share that. When I would get the offer, I would share it. And I also talk about negotiation, but yeah, any other questions regarding LinkedIn here today? So if you enjoyed, I'm going to put a poll up. How was this session for you? Just a quick poll. And then the second one. Okay, so I just put a poll up. You guys can tap on poll and let me know how this session was for you. If you didn't like it, you could also put something. I doubt that you didn't like it though. Okay, there's still 91 people here. Who else has a question? And then we can go off to the next session because I want to visit other sessions as well. My Instagram, I put it in the chat. Hold on, where did it go? Here's my Instagram. I'm going to put it here. And if you miss it, you can also message me on LinkedIn for it and I'll share it. But this is my Instagram right here. Okay, great. So I really enjoyed this session. I hope you guys feel really empowered, and I hope you feel less intimidated by LinkedIn. And I'm happy to connect with each of you. If you have deeper questions about, hey, Amin, I really want to reach out to this person for a referral. How do I do it? This is how I know them. Can you help me structure what I should say? I'm happy to do that as well. So with that, I'm going to stop. I don't know how to stop the session. I hope I stop. Hold on. With that, I think we're going to end today. And yeah, nice meeting you all. And thank you so much. That's my Instagram. That's my LinkedIn. Thank you all so much. And happy updating your LinkedIn. And I want to see phenomenal LinkedIns. Don't forget about your header. Don't forget to do a self-audit. Don't forget to make sure that those keywords are there. And most importantly, make sure that you're being yourself and own it. And if you have any questions specific to your situation, message me on LinkedIn.